Hi guys, thank you for watching the video today. If this is the first time you come in here, please like and subscribe and have a look at some of my other content that I've done. If you are returning and you've been long awaitedly for me to actually post a new video, thank you so much for coming back and watching. I have just had a little bit of life got in the way of it. I got a little bit lazy with it as well, I must admit, but I have had a bit more time. I've rejigged my life schedule around a little bit, and it's gave me a little bit more time to actually put some effort into my YouTube channel. I really appreciated my previous video getting so many views. I think I'm on something like 10,000 views now, almost 50 subscribers as well, so it's a little milestone for me in my opinion. I didn't think anyone would watch any of my videos. I sort of did it to get frustration out to a degree, and as I've mentioned before, I don't see many people that are just being completely and utterly honest. I'd like to think I've been as honest as possible from my very first video and doing a complete U-turn when I actually found out how bad that Ruroc helmet was, in my opinion anyway. So, not to hold back any further, so I will be doing a full review of the Scorpion Covert FX. Right, so what to talk about this video? So, to start off with, price. Number one thing that everyone cares about when it comes to motorbike helmets. Some people really want to spend a lot of money. Some people are more than happy to go as cheap as possible. This helmet, in my opinion, is the perfect helmet for anybody getting in to owning your first motorcycle and you're looking to get a cheap but effective and a safe helmet, or somebody that is looking for the style of a Ruroc helmet or a Simpson helmet and they do not want to spend that premium amount of money, but they also don't want to scrimp on quality and an actual safety. And I think that's two major things that a lot of people do forget to do. So to start with, I purchased this specific helmet for $189.99, that is in British pounds. It is currently, after this video as of today's date, you can pick it up for $176.99 all the way up to £220 pounds sterling again, which for majority of helmets is extremely low priced. But for the quality that you get in this helmet, when I say this is a better quality helmet than the Ruroc, it's not because I just don't like Ruroc very much. I have nothing against the helmet of Ruroc. I love the idea of it. Again, I've said it many a times. It is just the quality of this compared to the quality of a Ruroc helmet. To me, this is vastly superior. I've had several AGV helmets. This rivals the AGV build quality, feel, comfort, everything that you would want from a helmet really. But the number one thing to remember, and it's something that after a few helmets I started to learn, and I wish I'd thought about before I'd ordered the Ruroc, was every helmet has a different sort of style and shape. It doesn't mean that this helmet will fit you as perfect as it fits me, because I might have a weird head shape compared to your head shape. So always go to a store, always get fitted by one of the professionals. I've got a close friend of mine who's recently went to get a Bell helmet, got measured up, and they actually advised him for, I think it was an RE helmet potentially, might have been AGV, just because of the way his head shape worked against the ergonomics of the way the helmet has been built. And he claims it's the most comfortable helmet he's ever owned. He actually went down a size. He was a medium and he's got a small, and he said it's 10 times more comfortable than any helmet he's ever owned before, all because he's done what I've done in the past, and you just go and say, well, I'm a medium in that one, so I'm just going to go and buy a medium, and that's that. So yeah, sizing's a big thing. And for this, I'm a medium normally in most helmets, and this is a medium. Some people like helmets being super tight. Depends on what you use your helmet for, depends on what you're doing on your bike. This is tight, but it is not too tight. Unlike the Ruroc, so for example with that helmet, which was it wasn't the right size for my head. If I had by the second I put it on, it was a struggle to get the helmet actually on my head, and it was really hard to get it off, and it was a little bit of a claustrophobic moment when you tried to get it off sometimes, and it'd get stuck around about here near cheekbones or my eyebrows, and I'd have to just stop for a second, take a breath, and then pull the thing off my head. Again, you can go back to my old video. I actually got a sore on my ear because it was that tight trying to get it off, and it was rubbing past my ear. With this helmet, it is not like that at all. It slips on nicely and snug. It's nice and it's safely snug. Again, I got sized in the shop. They tested it all out. They did the chin wiggle test on me. They said it was a perfect fit. I tried the small on just to see how I felt. it was just way too tight. The pressure it was put on the head was unreal. And what you don't want when you're on a bike, especially if you do a few road trips like I've done, you don't want to be 2 hours, an hour into your road trip and you've got a blasting headache because your helmet is that tight. You can't concentrate on anything but how much pressure you're getting on around your head, and especially on your jaw, especially if you're talking to somebody. I found that with the Ruroc, if not that the intercom system was very good, but when I tried to use the intercom system, it just wasn't great. So comfort wise, so padding in this helmet, in my opinion, is fantastic. It's very spacious. It's not too aggressive. Again, every helmet is slightly different. Scorpion have their own style of doing things. What they class as their race helmets are also very different. But this is super nice. All this padding comes out. It's very easy to take out and put back in again. And that was one thing that I did like about it. Some helmets I've had, some AGV helmets, you take it out and it's like trying to put a flat pack furniture back into a box. You just can't get it in the way it was. Something isn't fitting the same way. My old AGV that I've still got, my Compact, I think it's called the AGV Compact, I can't remember now. It's a flip face helmet, and I took the pads out of that to wash the pads because I'm probably never going to use it again, but I've got it mounted on the wall now and I just wanted it not smelling. So I washed all the pads, I put the pads back in, and for the life of me, I cannot get them in quite the right spot. The side of it keeps popping out a little bit, and when I take the helmet off, the pads shift down. So this one, really easy. They click in, click out, super simple. Moving on from that, noise. So the noise from wind noise is what I mean when I say noise. So the wind noise on this helmet, I must admit, isn't great. It is one thing that is annoying me about the helmet quite a bit. Now, I have rode through the summer so far with it. I've rode in the pouring rain, I've rode in the wind, I've rode in the cold. I've got quite a bit of experience with this helmet so far, and the wind noise for me is it's very high, and that sort of shows from the price point. So obviously the cheaper the helmet, that they cut back on certain things. They don't make the cheap pads as full, so it doesn't bring all the way to the front to block it out. The little you do get a little chin guard flap here. It's not very big, and because of being a man with a beard, that sticks out the front, the wind just goes straight up it. It's one of those, I've had to start wearing earplugs with this because I've been getting such bad sort of like, you get that high pitched squeal in your ears when you take your helmet off and the room sort of goes quiet. It's been getting worse, so I've started to have to wear earplugs. I know a lot of people wear earplugs as a standard. I have never had to. I must admit, probably because the Ruroc was so damn tight, I never had to worry about that with the Ruroc. It was a very wind protected helmet, and I hardly heard anything. I have changed my bike since going from my old helmet to this helmet, and this bike doesn't have as much sort of head level wind protection. It's got a windscreen on it, but it's sort of, as the wind breaks, it hits you, so you do get a little bit of a baffle from it. And that obviously is a factor. It's not the worst in the world. I have rode several times without any earplugs and I've not really had too much of a problem. It's just one of those where it's a bugbear of mine. It's not quite where I would want it to be, but at the same time, for the cost of the helmet, who cares? Buy some earplugs. I've got a big bag of like 250 of the little foam ones you just squish up and push in your ears. They work brilliant. So going on from that, vents. So vents, you think, so the vents on this, obviously you've got them on the mouth guard here. They work. They are very good. There's a little click tab in the center of the mouth that you can flick up and down to say the vent's open or shut, and you do feel it on your chin. However, I rode with this and it was around about 28 degrees. It was English summertime, so it's hot. I don't know if anyone that isn't from England here, but when we get above 25 degrees here, it is like the hottest planet in the solar system. It is so hot. I don't know why. Don't know whether it's the way the humidity works, but I could go on holiday to 30 plus degrees and I'll be more comfortable in full leathers than I am over here. So it makes no sense. But this top vent, now there's an exhaust at the back, so the whole point of that top vent is supposed to create a circulation around the helmet. I have to admit, I cannot comfortably ride with this helmet unless it is quite cold with the visor shut at all times. If I get to a standstill at some traffic, or I'm waiting at an island or some traffic lights and I'm breathing away or I'm talking to somebody, I have to just crack that because I feel like it's the it's getting too hot. It's getting very, very, very warm in that helmet. It's a little bit annoying for me, but at the same time, I've never really had a helmet where I could say it is the best ventilation I've ever felt in my life. I don't think there probably is a helmet out there. Maybe there is that I've never tried, but it's not the greatest. It's not the worst. It's just a little bit frustrating for me. On the level of frustration, I'll move to visors. So, visor. Now, I think I showed this in my previous video. The visor removal system on this helmet, I sort of love it and hate it. I've got used to it now, and I'm not sort of like, I'm not in love with it, but at the same time, it's not as bad as something incomparable to the Ruroc system with pins. At least with this, I can't lose anything. The interesting thing about this, what I found is when I bought this helmet, I swapped this visor out straight away from the clear to the smoked, because it was a boiling hot day, middle of summer, and I actually asked the guys in the store to do it for me whilst I was there, because I didn't have a screwdriver on me, because I presumed you had to take this out. I hadn't looked at the visor removal or the visor change, so it turns out they took it over, they put it on the donut, they undone the screw, they swapped the visor out, and I asked them, I says, "Are you sure? Is that the only way to do it?" They were relatively confident that that was the only way that you can do it. So I noticed on the side of the helmet, now I'm not sure if this will be picked up on the camera, there is a little arrow here, and there's also an arrow on the visor. So if you line those two arrows up around about like that, and you give it a good old tug, it pops straight out. And yes, that is the correct way of doing it. I double checked because I did panic when I first did it. You've got to put quite a bit of force into it, but you get it off, and it is very easy, and that's it, it's done. You get your new visor, you put it over. It's a little bit harder to pop back on, I must admit, but you get it, it goes into like a guide slot, you line it up, you give it a good push, and it pops in. Same as this side, you line it up, give it a good push, and it snaps straight in. Now, I've tested these, and I've tightened them up as tight as I can, and I've loosened them a little bit. The looser these are, the easier this is to slot in and out, but I've done these up as tight as I possibly can, and it makes no difference in difficulty, whether they're super tight or a little bit tight. It's perfect. So, and it feels super, super secure. I've tried to pull this out when these aren't aligned, and it won't go anywhere. You feel like you're going to break the visor. So I absolutely love that. I must admit, I do like it. However, sometimes you just can't quite get the slot and you're there for like 10 minutes trying to get it, and it's frustrating, especially if you've got all your gear on. Like I've said before, I swap my visor, especially now. We're getting to sort of the late part of October. The nights are rolling in early. By the time I leave work, 5:30, 6, it's pretty much dark outside, so I can't ride with this tinted visor. One, for legal reasons, and two, you just can't see anything. I have a big country road on the way back to my house. You just can't see anything. It's like riding with sort of like squinting, and on top of that being it dark. So I swap it out quite often. I found it relatively easy. It's just, for me, like a clip system, like my AGV had. It was just a little red tab. You press the red tab and it pops straight out. Easy, simple. There was no sort of trying to get the right line or anything like that. So, it is what it is. So, on the note of visors, now personally, so this visor is interesting. So this is the new ECC, I think it is 22.06 approved visors. So in the past, if you own a motorbike helmet and you've got a black visor, you'll notice some writing on the side here, and it will indicate the fact that it's shatterproof and some qualifications on there, but it will usually say something around the lines of track use only, or not legal, or nothing at all, which if it's nothing at all, you shouldn't be wearing it ever, because it means it's not a certified visor. But it should say something on there around the lines of, if it's tinted, you can't wear it on the road. If you have a, does it say on the back of my helmet? No, it doesn't. If you have an ECC 22.06, which is the new safety standard of helmets, you potentially, not all helmet providers do it, will get this new, slightly less tinted visor. Now, I don't know the tint percentage, but as you can see from that, you would be able to see my hand completely. If the sun shines on you, if I'm being honest, it pretty much does nothing. If you've got that glare and you're running towards a sunset or a sunrise, you can't see anything. I have to wear sunglasses with this because you don't have any drop-down visor, any drop-down sun visors on this helmet, which is very, very frustrating. So that being said, oh sorry, and by the way, on the side of this helmet, it does state that this is a tinted visor for daytime riding only. So if you get any police out there that pull you over and it is no longer daytime, you can get done for wearing this specific visor, even if it is a road certified one, because it is road use in the day only. So be super careful. I always carry a clear visor with me just in case. But on the note of visors, so I've had a few questions in the comments. I will put some links in the information of this video to some of the visors that I found. The biggest issue I found with this helmet, the only visor that they seem to do is a darker smoked one, which is track use only. They do an iridium silver, an iridium gold, iridium pink, and I think that's it. I don't think I've seen any more. So there's 4 visors you can get. Now, if you go on the Scorpion EU website, you can see them, but you can't buy them. It will ask you where do you want to buy it from, and it doesn't come up with anything. I found some on eBay that are from America, and they're around about £45 plus like another 40 quid of taxes and shipping. So you're talking like £100 for a visor, which is not worth it in my opinion. There's a couple websites I found. I think one is an English site and one is an Italian site. The Italian site, I won't try and say the name because I might get it wrong and I don't want to advertise the wrong company. I will put it in the description. But the Italian company, I have used them several times. I use them for my Pinlock. I use them for several different things, and it's been really good. Shipping's like 2 to 4 days, really fast from Italy, and the service has been great. I actually had a problem with an item that I ordered, and they were more than happy for me to send it back, included shipping. It was brilliant. So they're running around about the £55 to £65. I am going to purchase one next month. I'm not sure which colour I'm going to go for yet. I've been debating around about the gold, just because I think it looks really nice, but I'm not 100% confident, so I'll have another look. I'll wait for payday to roll around and I'm going to order one. I have reached out to a couple of the companies that sell them to try and be a little bit cheeky to see if they'll send me one for free, and I'll do a review. However, as I state in a lot of my videos, when I try and get some feedback from sort of like not a sponsor, but somebody that will send me some free kit for me to review and not to keep to send it back to them, I will put in there that I am going to be brutally honest, and it is not something that I'm really willing to be paid for. I don't want to keep the product. I'm happy to keep it if they want me to, but it will not influence my decision or what I say whatsoever, and I will be posting it on YouTube. So I think it puts a lot of people off because they just don't want a completely brutally honest opinion. Maybe when I get a few more views, I don't know, a few more subscriptions, that's why I would love it if you guys could sub a bit more. I know a lot of people who watch the video. It doesn't cost you anything, it just manages to get my sort of my channel a little bit bigger, to then maybe get some more items that I can actually review, rather than me sort of wait until I can get enough money to then buy that item to then review it for you. That would be amazing. However, the Pinlock, also, I will put a link in the description for the Pinlock. It was $23.99, I believe. The biggest problem I had is I couldn't find it anywhere. I had to go on the Pinlock website, and on the Pinlock website you can find where to buy it from. Not the best shops that I found on there, but it does have the specific sort of serial number of the Pinlock for this, which I will put in the description as well, and I'll put where I purchased mine from. Again, I think I got it from that Italian site, came within a couple days, had no problems with it, fitted really easy, same as every Pinlock in the world, and the Pinlock is fantastic, does a great job. Don't think anyone should be riding with any helmet without a Pinlock. I need to buy a second Pinlock because I can't be bothered to keep taking it out of my tinted and put it in my clear. It just annoys me, and it's not that expensive, so I'm probably going to buy another one. But overall, right, so on a scale of 1 to 10 compared to helmets I've had in the past, compared to other helmets I've looked at, helmets I've tried on, helmets I've owned, everything, I have got to say this is, at the moment, this is my all-time favourite helmet for the cost. It's so cheap, like a hundred, well at the moment $176.99. That is so cheap for a motorbike helmet, and it is super light as well. I believe, I'll put it here exactly what it's made of. Can't quite remember what it's made of, but it's not made of the standard process that you get from helmets, and they can be quite heavy. This is actually slightly lighter than my Ruroc, and the Ruroc is made of carbon, which is crazy. It hardly feels like anything on your head. If anything, when I have my GoPro mounted, it feels weird because there's actually a little bit of weight to the helmet. Same if I take my Cardo, what are they called, communication system, off the side of the helmet, it even lightens it up a little bit because of the weight difference is just crazy. But yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give this helmet like an 8.9. It is right up there. The noise, the wind noise lets it down slightly. The vents let it down slightly. The availability to get the visors that's a big letdown for me, because I do like customizing my helmet a little bit to make it a little bit more mine, which is frustrating. Other than that, it's one of the best helmets I've ever owned. It rivals all my AGVs I've had. It smashes the rear rack out the water. I don't know why anyone would waste money on the rear rack unless it was just the styles. They do a lot of graphical designs on the helmet. I'm not big on graphics on helmets. I like either matte or gloss black. Sometimes the carbon, I do like the look of the carbons, but that's it. So all in all, if anyone was to ever come over to you and ask you what's the best helmet I could get in a relatively responsible budget, Scorpion Covert FX is the #1, and I don't care what anybody else says. But anyway, thank you so much for coming back to seeing the video, or if this is your first time, please like, subscribe, comment. I'll always try and comment back to you guys, and give you some feedback or answer any questions that you've got. And as always, have a great day, guys, and hope you enjoy your week.